All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. And if you have any questions or anything, feel free to ask, since this is going to be a little bit of a smaller group. So my name is Emily Schalk, and I am the Communications and Professional Development Coordinator at the Alpaugh Family Economics Center. And today's workshop is going to be about children's literature, financial literacy and economics, as well as how to choose books that are going to be touching on topics such as race, diversity, and social justice. So why is this topic important? Well, we know that when we teach children at an early age about these topics, we help them to make choices so that we can prepare them to be a part of the economy. And choices is, of course, a really important economic concept to teach children. So if we can teach them this important economic concept while touching on really important themes such as diversity, race, inclusion, that's all the more bonus points that are going to be added. So children's books are a great, safe way to introduce children to new ideas, cultures, races, and opinions. So today we're going to discuss how to spot the economics and financial literacy concepts in each story. You'll walk away from this workshop with a list of diverse children's books, themes, and resources that you can use in your classrooms to begin these important conversations. So before we get started on the books, I did want to quickly just go over, and this is going to be a resource. I'm going to give you guys access to this entire PowerPoint, and everything is linked. But I did find this really great resource as a starting point for talking and teaching kids about race. I am not an expert in this area, so there is a wealth of knowledge online, and it is created by very, very knowledgeable and educated organizations, and this is just one of them. So this was from embracerace.org. So I'm just going to quickly just go over the 10 things that as you're teaching and talking to kids about race to keep in mind. So as we already mentioned, starting early is a really great way to get this conversation started with your children and your students. By 6 months of age, babies are noticing racial differences, and by age 4, children have begun to show signs of racial bias. So letting your children know that it's perfectly okay to notice skin color and talk about race at an early age is really important. So the second thing is to encourage your child to ask questions and share observations and experiences and be respectfully curious about race. And this can be done by exposing children to different cultural opportunities, such as the books that we're going to go over today. And you don't have to be, like I said, I'm not an expert on race, but you don't have to be an expert on race to start talking to your children about race. You need to be honest about what you don't know and work with your children to find accurate information, which, like I said, there are tons of really great resources like embracerace.org that are really helpful for this. Third thing is to be mindful. What kids hear from us is less important than what they see us do. So you're a role model for your children and your students. So what you say in front of them matters. Number 4 is to face your own bias. So let your children see you acknowledge and work through your own biases instead of kind of pushing it under the rug. Number 5 is know and love who you are. So talk about the histories and experiences of the racial, ethnic, and cultural groups you and your family identify with, and tell stories about the challenges your family has faced, and kind of tie that into other races as well. The sixth thing is what we're kind of touching on today, which is racial cultural literacy. So develop racial cultural literacy by learning about and respecting others, such as making sure your children understand that every racial and ethnic group includes people who believe different things. There's as much diversity within racial groups as across them. So the more that children are exposed to these cultural differences, the better they will be able to understand how they fit into their world. So the 7th thing is to be honest with your child. Be sure your child knows the struggle for racial fairness that's still happening. And again, don't sweep it under the rug. Number 8 is to tell stories of resistance and resilience. 9 is to be active. Whenever possible, connect the conversations you're having to the change you and your child want to see. And then number 10, I think, is the most important, is this is a marathon, not a sprint. So it's okay to say things like, I'm not sure, I'll have to look into that. Let's come back to this later. But then make sure you do come back to it, because they need to know that you think that this topic is important enough to address. And this is going to be a long process. It's not something where you just teach a single lesson or you read a single book and then the job is done. It's incorporating these multicultural stories into your everyday classroom or talking to your children about this every day. So, and again, this is actually a really great PDF that is available for you to download, and the link is going to be in this PowerPoint. So you will have access to that. Embrace Race is a really great resource. So in addition to talking about race and social justice and diversity, we're also going to talk about how to tie those in with the economics and financial literacy, which you might think is a tall order, but actually there's this really great handout that you guys will also be getting a PDF of, and it's called Can You Spot the Economics? And so essentially any book that you are going over with your students, you can use this worksheet to help them find the economics in that story. So for example, think about a book you've read, use these questions to help you find the economics in that story. So was there anyone in the story who, and there's a long list of questions that you can have them look for the economics in the story. And this can go beyond the stories and the books that we're going over today. So this is just a really great resource if you do want to touch on economics with your students. Was there anyone in the story who had wants? Yes or no? If so, what were they? Well, wants and needs is an economic topic. So getting them to start thinking about the fact that economics is everywhere, even at an early age, is a really great way to get them to start thinking. And a lot of economics is actually about decision making. And in a lot of children's stories, that's what we see is a character having to make decisions and go through problems and issues and make the decisions that are best for them and their situation. So yeah, there's other ones like, was there anyone in the story who saved money for later? Was there anyone in the story who used capital resources? Of course, some of these, depending on the grade level that you teach, you will need to go over the economic concept first. But this is just a really great worksheet that you can use for any book. And I will be sending out the PDF of this worksheet as well. So basically, for the questions you answered yes to, use another sheet or paper to describe what happened. And this is on the second sheet of that, where they would put their name, the name of the book, and on the magnifying glass, describe the economic examples they spotted in the story. So just a really great way for you to easily get your students immersed in thinking economically. All right, so let's go ahead and get into these books. And I will tell you, for those of you that are local, we're located in Cincinnati. We got these book suggestions from a really great bookstore called The Blue Manatee. And it is a wonderful children's bookstore that actually is also a nonprofit. So every book that you buy there, they also give a book to a school in the Cincinnati region. So they put together this list of books, and it's a great list of books. And again, it ranges from all ages. So we'll start kind of a little bit younger and kind of pepper in some different age groups. But we'll go ahead and get started. The first book that I wanted to talk to you guys about today is called M is for Melanin. And it is just a little bit about the book. M is for melanin, shining in every inch of your skin, every shade, every hue, all beautiful and unique. So this is an alphabet book, but each letter of the alphabet contains affirming Black positive messages, from A is for Afro to F is for fresh W is for worthy. And this book teaches children their ABCs while encouraging them to love the skin that they are in. And I will say another really great thing about this PowerPoint is if you click on the picture of the picture book, I've linked a YouTube video where someone is reading this book. So I did want to kind of just show you very quickly. I'm going to have to stop sharing my screen. You guys, somebody, if you can see my YouTube. Okay. I see the video. Anybody? I hope so.
Yes, sorry, I was having trouble with my mic.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I just want to make sure I'm doing it correctly because I'm not perfect with the Zoom. All right, so I'm just going to show you just a snippet with of M is for Melanin being read aloud.
You may have to click the share audio tab.
I forgot to do that, didn't I? Yeah. Okay, hang on. Oh dear. Okay, let's start over. Here we go. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, here we go.
This amazing story. A is for Afro. Your hair makes a statement. Embrace the bigness of your hair. Pick it, fluff it, love it. B is for very black. Be it unapologetically, be bold, be fearless, be you. C is for creative. Paint the canvas of life with the colors of the rainbow. Sprinkle your black girl magic and black boy joy on the world. D is for dream. From Martin to Michelle and everyone in between, you, little black child, are your ancestors' wildest dream.
So that's just a great, the illustrations are beautiful, and it's just a really great book. I just wanted to show you a little snippet of it. And I'm going to go back to here. All right. So in addition to some resources that there's a word search that I found for this as well, and that's linked there. The economic and financial literacy question that you could ask with regards to this story is, how could you use this book to talk about choices and how choices can impact our lives every day? So starting to get them to think about what choices they're making as they're thinking about diversity and inclusion and things of that sort. That could be an economic or financial literacy question that you can ask with this book. So the next book is called The Skin You Live In by Michael Tyler. With the ease and simplicity of a nursery rhyme, this lively story delivers an important message of social acceptance to young readers. Themes associated with child development and social harmony, such as friendship, acceptance, self-esteem, and diversity, are promoted in a simple and straightforward prose. This delightful picture book offers a wonderful venue that parents and teachers can use to discuss important social concepts with their children. So very quickly, I'm going to share the video for this one as well. There might be an easier way to do this too. Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Tyler, and I am the author of this book, The Skin You Live In. It has been illustrated by David Lee Sisko and published by the Chicago Children's Museum. It is the #1 place in the city if you're a kid. And having said that, I'd like to read the book. the skin you live in. Hey, look at your skin, the wonderful skin you live in. The skin you're all day in, the skin that you play in, the skin that you snuggle up, cuddle up, lay in. The skin that you beam in, the skin that you scream in, the skin that you dream about eating ice cream in. The skin you have fun in, the skin that you run in, the skin that you hop, skip, and jump in the sun in. The skin you laugh in, the skin that you cry in, the skin that you look to the sky and ask why in. It's baby born new skin, and your family too skin, and glows when it shows that it knows we love you skin. It's face the rain bowl skin, and snow angel cold skin, and warm again, let it in, sunshine behold skin. It's trembling fright skin and cringes at night skin, but turn off the lights to make birthday cake bright skin. It's whatever you do skin, be happy it's you skin. You can't live without it. I'm glad it's me too skin. And look at the shades it comes in, the shades of your colorful skin. Your coffee and cream skin, your warm cocoa dream skin, your chocolate chip, double dip, Sunday supreme skin. Your marshmallow treat skin, your spun sugar sweet skin, your cherry top, candy drop, frosting complete skin. Your pumpkin pie slice skin, your caramel corn nice skin, your toffee wrap, ginger snap, cinnamon spice skin. Your butterscotch gold skin, your lemon tart bowl skin, your mountain high apple pie, cookie dough roll skin. Now, look once again at your skin, and the skin all people live in. It's not tall skin or short skin, or best in a sports skin, or fat skin, or thin skin, you lose and I win skin. Nor sad skin or mad skin, you're naturally bad skin. I'm rich and you're poor, and you'll never have more skin. It's not dumb skin or smart skin, or keep us apart skin, or weak skin or strong skin, I'm right and you're wrong skin. Nor she skin or he skin, you're better than me skin, I'm lesser than you skin, it's me against you skin. It's not any of this, because you're more than you seem. You are all that you think, and you hope, and you dream. You're a gifted creation with imagination. You're a new day desire to reach even higher. You're the feelings that start from down deep in your heart. You're the pride and the joy inside each girl and boy. So, whenever you look at your beautiful skin, from your wiggling toes to your giggling grin, think how lucky you are that the skin you live in so beautifully holds the you who's within. And like flowers in the fields that make wonderful views, when we stand side by side in our wonderful hues, we all make a beauty so wonderfully true. We are special and different and just the same too. Thanks for listening.
All right. I think I can. So the economic and financial literacy question that can go with this is, can you name some goods and services that you see in the illustration of this book? What about natural resources? So these could be things such as, you know, the ice cream or the butterflies or anything along those lines that you see in the book. And then there's some really great lesson plans that are also for this book. Let's see if I can pull that up for you. I think I shared my whole screen, so I don't think I have to keep going back and forth anymore. All right, so this lesson, it just gives you And again, this is typically for like K-3. So it gives you kind of pre-reading questions, post-reading questions, and it also gives you some deepening your thinking questions and transforming your thinking. What can you do if someone makes fun of you because of the color of your skin? Is it more important to focus on the outside or inside of a person? And then there are also other suggestions for books as well that you could use if you wanted to talk further about this. So that is The Skin You Live In. So then the next book is called The Day You Begin by Jacqueline Woodson. And this is actually, Jacqueline Woodson is a National Book Award winner and two-time Pura Belper Illustrator Award winner. Also teamed up to create this heartening book about finding courage to connect even when you feel scared and alone. And I'm going to go ahead and show you just a little bit of this one as well.
Let's talk about Grammarly. Anytime you type or text, Grammarly provides quality.
Hello and welcome back to another edition of Sankofa Read Aloud. Today's story is titled The Day You Begin, written by Jacqueline Woodson, illustrated by Rafael Lopez. I hope that you enjoyed this beautiful story. There will be times when you walk into a room and no one there is quite like you. Maybe it will be your skin, your clothes, or the curl of your hair. There will be times when no one understands the way words curl from your mouth, the beautiful language of the country you left behind. My name is Rigoberto. We just moved here from Venezuela. And because they don't understand, the classroom will fill with laughter until the teacher quiets everyone. Rigoberto from Venezuela, your teacher says so soft and beautifully that your name and homeland sound like flowers blooming, the first bright notes of a song. There will be times when the words don't come. Once huge, now smaller. When the teacher asks, "What did you do last summer?" Tell the class your story. "We went to France," Shayla says. "These shells came from a beach in Maine." A boy named Jonathan holds out a jar, filled with tiny shells so fragile, they look like they'll turn to dust in your own untraveled hands. My whole family went to India, Spain, South Carolina. Each souvenir a small triumph of a journey, their travels going on and on. And as you stand in front of that room, you can only remember how the heat waved as it lifted off the curb, and your days spent at home caring for your little sister, who made you laugh out loud and hugged you hard at nap time. You can only remember the books you kept on reading long after she had fallen to sleep. And in that room, where no one else is quite like you, you'll look down at your own empty hands and wonder, what good is this, when other students were flying and sailing and going somewhere? There will be times when the lunch your mother packed for you is too strange or too unfamiliar for others to love as you do. When even your own friend Nadja will wrinkle her nose and say, "What's in there anyway?" And you'll wonder how she doesn't see the rice beneath the meat and kimchi. You'll wonder why she doesn't remember that rice is the most popular food in the world. There will be times when the climbing bars are too high, the run is too fast and far, the game isn't one you can ever really play. I don't want him on our team. You can watch. Maybe you can have a turn later. There will be times when the world feels like a place that you're standing all the way outside of. And all that stands beside you is your own brave self, steady as steel and ready, even though you don't yet know what you're ready for. There will be times when you walk into a room and no one there is quite like you until the day you begin. to share your story. My name is Angelina, and I spent my whole summer with my little sister. You tell the class your voice, stronger than it was a minute ago, reading books and telling stories, and even though we were right on our block, it was like we got to go everywhere. Your name is like my sister's, Rigoberto says, and her name is Angelina too. And all at once in the room, where no one else is quite like you, the world opens itself up a little wider to make some space for you. This is the day you begin to find the places inside your laughter and your lunches, your books, your travel, and your stories, where every new friend has something a little like you, and something else so fabulously not quite like you at all.
Right. So there is also a wonderful lesson plan to all the works of Jacqueline Woodson. Actually, oh, hang on one second. And so it's a really great curricular resource for, if it's going to load. And again, this is all linked in the PowerPoint. So in addition to that book, there's tons of other books that she's written, and each one has a list of lesson plans. So diving in to discuss, think like an illustrator and things of that sort. So I would definitely encourage you to check that out. Hang on one second. There's something. Okay. Sorry, I have a fish tank behind me and it was making weird noises. I apologize. All right. And so for this particular book, what I would say would be a great lesson plan. Not lesson plan, sorry. Economic or financial literacy question would be, how did the main character, Angelina, experience scarcity at the beginning of the story? So again, this would be something where if your students didn't know what scarcity was, you'd have to go over the concept first. But scarcity is when there's a lack of something that you need. So at the beginning of the story, Angelina experienced scarcity because she felt as though she didn't have as much experience with her summer to tell everybody about. But then at the end of the story, you can talk about how she took a risk and shared with her classmates, and that rewarded her. So those are kind of some of the economic and financial literacy topics. All right, so the next story is called All Are Welcome by Alexandra Penfold. And I'll go ahead and let you see a little bit of this one too.
We just had the most amazing family vacation. Let's go! Oh my God.
All Are Welcome by Alexandra Penfold and Suzanne Kaufman. Pencils sharpened in their case, bells are ringing, let's make haste. School's beginning, dreams to chase, all are welcome here. No matter how you start your day, what you wear when you play, or if you come from far away, all are welcome here. In our classroom, safe and sound, fears are lost and hope is found. Raise your hand, we'll go around. All are welcome here. Gather now, let's take part. We'll make music, we'll make art. We'll share stories from the heart. All are welcome here. Time for lunch, what a spread. A dozen different kinds of bread. Pass it around till everyone's fed. All are welcome here. Open doors, rush outside. We will swing, we will slide. We'll have fun side by side. All are welcome here. We're part of a community. Our strength is diversity, a shelter from adversity. All are welcome here. We will learn from each other. Special talents we'll uncover. There's a big world to discover. All are welcome here.
Go on. I believe it's at the end of this one.
You have a space here. You are welcome here.
Just love the illustrations in all of these books too. It's so cool. All right, so for this one, all are welcome lets your children know that no matter what, they have a place, they have a space, they are welcome in their school. And there is a lesson plan that it's kind of more of a read along type of lesson plan. There's kind of gives you some vocabulary words that you can go over with them, such as inclusion, exclusion, diversity, similarity, and empathy, which are really great words to start talking to your students about. And then some discussion questions you can use following reading it. So do you have a friend at school who is from a different country? Do you have a friend at school who speaks a different language? And talk about what it means to include someone versus excluding them. So again, that's linked right on the PowerPoint. And then for the economic and financial literacy question, you could ask, what are the benefits of welcoming everyone in your community? So you could have students start talking about, well, we could learn, we could get all sorts of new information. We could get new food, we could get new culture and art and be exposed to it. Are there any costs of welcoming everyone in your community? Get them kind of talking about if there are some costs and benefits, which you think is most important, and kind of guiding them towards all of the benefits that would come from welcoming everyone in their community and what they could bring to a community if they welcome everyone. All right, so the next book is called Lovely by Jess Hong. And Lovely is a debut picture book written and illustrated by Jess Hong. And it's a lively ode to being different. So in the book, it says, what is lovely? Lovely is different. A girl with one blue eye and one brown eye looks directly at the viewer in the book. And this is kind of a celebration of diversity. And it's a great book to build classroom community. And again, there is actually a really cool animated version of this book that I was just going to share just a minute of.
Monster Math presents Addition Below 10. Okay, class.
Hi, welcome to BookBox. Don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell icon to...
Lovely by Jess Hong. What is lovely? Lovely is different. Black, white, tall, short, lovely. Simple. Complex.
Just go to
weird, and wonderful. Lovely is you. Lovely is me. We are all lovely.
All right. So, and again, that was just a cool kind of animated rendition of the book. And there is a great activity that's linked here that you could go over with your students, teaching children about self-acceptance and diversity. And it is kind of a curriculum guide. If you scroll down, so play, it gives you all of the information that you need, some different activities that you could do, like do crack and egg demonstration. So bring eggs with different colored shells, have the children observe how they look different, then crack the eggs. Do they look different on the inside? Explain how this relates to people. So there's just a lot of different things. Make a self-esteem mirror, have children make a mirror surrounded with words about what makes them special or lovely. And it's just a really great resource. There's also printable worksheets and things like that. So it's just a really, really great resource. And again, that is right there linked on the page. So for this book, for the economic question, all of the characters in this book are lovely in their own way. Do you think that being loved is a need or a want? So remember, again, you'll have to go over, remember, needs are things that we must have in order to survive, things we truly can't be without. And wants, on the other hand, are things that we would like to have, but are not necessary for survival. So this is interesting because, you know, with economics, you typically think, okay, well, something that you need is water, you know, and food. Something that you want is a video game, but what about love? So it's kind of a cool conversation to start with your students, you know, to take these economic concepts of need versus want and make them a little bit more, you know, philosophical for your students, or giving them a chance to kind of think outside the box about it. And it could facilitate some really great conversations. All right, so again, another alphabet book. So again, this would probably be for K through 2, 3, and this is called A is for Activist, by Inosanta Nagara. And I'm gonna go ahead and play a little bit of that for you.
Google Fi, a phone plan by Google. Stay connected with full-speed hotspot tethering. So
plan to school for about just so read with permission by 7 Stories in Triangle Square, books for young readers. A is for activist, advocate, abolitionist, ally, actively answering a call to action. Are you an activist? B is for banner, bobbing in the sky, billowing in the breeze, 'cause you're not shy. C is for co-op, cooperating cultures, creative counter to culprit vultures. Oh, and cats. Can you find the cats? Little D, democracy, more than voting, you'll agree. Dictators detest it. Donkeys don't get it. But you and me, we demand equality. Equal rights, black, brown, or white. Clean and healthy is a right. Every place we live and play, environmental justice is the way. F is for feminist, for fairness and pay, for freedom to flourish and choose our own way. G is for grassroots, sprouting from below, sharing nutrients and the water's flow. Below the surface, we're all connected, stronger together we grow. H is for healthy food, a human right. Honeydew, jicama, nature's delight. Hummus, hot dogs, Havarti cheese. Hot dogs? Yes. Healthy hot dogs, please. And pizza. Indigenous and immigrant, together we stand tall. Our histories are relevant. An injury to one is an injury to all.
All right. So actually, looking through these, it is actually more for, if this is a K-6 workshop, your sixth graders easily, these are complicated. Each one of these letters is covering a pretty complicated topic. So I might have misspoke when I said this is for K-3. This could definitely be for the older kids, and they could really choose any letter in this book and be able to kind of expand it. That's like the really cool thing about this alphabet book, is that it really exposes them to a lot of different ideas in a way that's poetic and easy to digest for them, and help them to start kind of being exposed to these ideas for the first time. So for this, there is, of course, another great lesson plan that goes along with this if you do want to make it a larger lesson plan. So let me share that with you. And it is by Melody Elliott, and it is a very great comprehensive. It's actually a 2-day lesson plan. And again, as you can see, this is for social studies and English language arts 5th grade. So definitely for the older students, because of even though, you think, oh, an alphabet book, it's covering some pretty great topics that 5th grade, 6th grade, even into like 7th grade, I think could be taught. So as you can see, the learning objectives, students will identify activism and explain how good citizens can go beyond basic civic and political responsibilities. It really breaks down everything that you would need in order to teach this book to your students. And if we go back, one of the financial literacy questions, if you do move through it and you want to kind of go for the economic part of it, there are a lot of goods and services in the book within each story. So can you define any examples of human resources? Are there any examples of specialization? Kind of have them go through and try to find those different examples as well. And again, you might have to go over what specialization is and the difference between human and natural resources. And it might just be a really good way to get them to start thinking about that. All right, so the next book is called Something Happened in Our Town. And it is by Marianne Solano, Marietta Collins, and Hazard. And so this book tackles police shootings of a Black man in their community. The story aims to answer children's questions about such traumatic events. It follows 2 families, one white and one Black, as they discuss what happened. And it helps children identify and counter racial injustice in their own lives. So, and for this book, actually, if you go to, and it includes an extensive note to parents and caregivers with guidelines for discussing race and racism with children, and child-friendly definitions with sample dialogue, and that's what's included right here. So if you do, this is kind of, a more, it really gets to the heart of a lot of issues. So if you want to kind of preview the read aloud tips before you do read this with your students, that might be a good idea. I'm going to go ahead and share just a few minutes of this book with you guys.
When it comes to health insurance, don't settle for less. With Ambetter, you get low-cost plans loaded with valuable benefits. A network with hundreds
you can learn about. So grab your healthy snacks, sit on back, and enjoy today's story. Marietta Collins. Something bad happened in our town. The news was on the TV, the radio, and the internet. The grown-ups didn't think the kids knew about it, but the kids in Miss Garcia's class heard some older kids talking about it, and they had questions. After school, Emma asked her mother, "Why did the police shoot that man?" "It was a mistake," said her mother. I feel sorry for the man and his family. Yes, the police thought he had a gun, said her father. It wasn't a mistake, said her sister Liz. The cops shot him because he was black. Emma was confused. He is brown, not black, she said. Some black people have dark brown skin and some have light brown skin, Emma's father explained. Black usually means African American. Most of their ancestors were brought here from Africa as slaves. I know what a slave is, said Emma. That's when you have to do whatever the other person says. Yes, slaves had to do whatever white people told them to do.
All right, so then it moves forward in the story and across the neighborhood.
Her mother said, it's an uncat. Emma. Her mother gave her a hug. Why do you ask? Why do you ask? That white policeman who shot the black man, said Josh. Will he go to jail? What he did was wrong, said his mother. But he won't go to jail, said his father. Why not? Asked Josh. Cops stick up for each other, said Josh's brother Malcolm. And they don't like black men. Josh was confused. Why not? Some police are black. You're right, said his mother. Uncle James is a police officer, and so is my friend Kenya. There are many cops, black and white, who make
Then, when they're at school, they use the lessons that they
learning
learn.
English. After lunch, the class went outside to play soccer. Daniel and Sophia picked kids to be on their teams. All of the kids were picked to be on a team except Omad. Daniel said Omad probably didn't know how to play because he was new. Sophia said Omad might not be good at soccer. Josh remembered what his mother said about sticking up for people who were treated unfairly. Emma remembered what her mother said about unfair patterns and birthday parties. All of a sudden, Omad wasn't alone. Emma and Josh were leading him to their team. We have enough kids on our team, Daniel said. We don't need him. But Josh was ready. Step off, he said. He's playing. Yeah, said Emma. We don't want to miss out. And just like that, Emma and Josh gained a new friend and started a better pattern in their school.
All right, so this book, of course, touches on a lot more serious topics. So you will certainly have to gauge whether or not you think this is appropriate to share with your students in your classroom. But like I said, a really great place to start if you do want to share this book is this link right here that has a lot of great tips for reading it aloud to your students. So I would encourage you to read this. So example, a sample introduction. Today I'm going to read a book called Something Happened in Our Town. And raise your hand if you have a question or want to share your reactions. What do you see happening on the cover? So it gives you kind of a lot. It's really a great valuable resource for some discussion prompts and things of that sort for each of the themes in the story. So I would definitely say if this is something that you want to tackle, definitely look at this resource as well. So the financial or the economic and financial literacy question that you could ask with this would be, what incentives did Emma and Josh have to allow Omad to be a part of their team? And what trade-off did they make in order to do this? So incentives are they aren't going to miss out on a new friend. A trade-off would be that maybe the other kids in their class would get upset. So again, getting that economic and financial literacy theme in there as well, even though there's already a lot of themes that need to be tackled in that story. So, okay, the next book is The Color of Us by Karen Katz. And this is a positive and affirming look at skin color from an artist's perspective. So 7-year-old Lena is going to paint a picture of herself. She wants to use brown paint for her skin, but when she and her mother take a walk through the neighborhood, Lena learns that brown comes in many different shades. So through the eyes of a little girl who begins to see to see her familiar world in a different way, this book celebrates the differences and similarities that connect all people. And again, there's some discussion questions here. And in the book, when she goes around town to her neighborhood, there are a lot of, she visits a pizza parlor, a neighbor that works there or owns the pizza parlor, as well as, her mother's an artist. So there's a lot of examples of entrepreneurs in the story. So you could ask them to name some examples of entrepreneurs in the story, and why are they why are the businesses that they operate important to their community? So to kind of talk about what an entrepreneur is and what they bring to a community, and things like that after they read the story. And so the next, and I believe there's 2 more after this. So the next one is We Came to America by Faith Ringgold. And this is from a story about all the different people who come to America and the reasons that they do. So from Native Americans who first called this land their home, to the millions of people who have flocked to its shores ever since. America is a rich country of diversity. Some of our ancestors were driven by dreams and hope. Others came in chains or were escaping poverty or persecution. No matter what brought them here, each person embodied a unique gift, and their art and music, and their determination and grit, their stories and their culture. And together, they forever shaped the country we all call home. So vividly expressed in this story, it's an ode to every American who came before us, and a tribute to each child who will carry its proud message of diversity into our nation's future. So again, there's a really great lesson for this one. And there is a link to the YouTube video there, but since we're running out of time, I'll hold off on sharing all of these. So this is a really great family story quilt lesson. So basically the students are going to compose a 1 or 2 line family memory story. And students are going to visually depict a family memory or hope or a dream for their family. And then they'll learn about each other's unique family through the creation of a class quilt. So it's really cool little concept to show them just how unique every single person in their class is. And it's a cool way to visually see that as well. So for this question, you could discuss the economic reasons why people immigrate. So do all have a choice? Did everyone have a choice when immigrating to America? Why or why not? What's the difference between those who came willingly and those who did not? So kind of talking about who came because of some economic benefits that they could have in America, and then who, came not of their own accord. So a type of question you could start talking about with your students. So the final book is called Don't Touch My Hair by Cherie Miller. And I think this is just, the illustrations in all of these books are absolutely beautiful. Since we're running out of time, I'm not going to share with you, but again, I definitely would encourage you to read and to watch the YouTube video. So this is a picture book that teaches the importance of asking for permission, first as a young girl attempts to escape the curious hands that want to touch her hair. So it seems like wherever Aria goes, someone wants to touch her hair. In the street, strangers reach for her curls, and even under the sea, in the jungle, and in space, she's chased by a mermaid, monkeys, and poked by aliens until finally she learns that she can tell people to not touch her hair. And I love, so this is by Cherie Miller, and she has some really great kind of free resources. That there's some coloring pages, as well as talks about personal boundaries and what they are. So they're rules that you have for your body and how you want other people to treat you. There's some other really cool, like 5 things I love about my hair, to draw a picture of yourself. So this is just another great book that you can share with some resources to go along with it. And then for the economic question, what choice does Aria make at the end of the book? And does this choice have consequences? Why or why not? And what risk is she taking by making this choice? So talking to your students about that, she makes a choice to tell people to stop touching her hair. maybe they'll get upset at her, and things of that sort. So talking about choice and risk, which are economic concepts. All right, so there are 4 other books that I wasn't able to fully cover because I knew we only had 1 hour today, but they are all right here, and they all are linked with a YouTube video. So if you did want to kind of explore some more books, these are all another 4 really great books that you could share with your students. And again, like I mentioned, these book recommendations came from the Blue Manatee Literacy Project, and the link is right there if you want to check them out. So that is kind of a whirlwind of some books that you could start to share with your students in your classroom to talk about these themes of diversity and social justice and inclusion. And again, it's just the tip of the iceberg. And I just think the more that students can be exposed to it, the better, in addition to tying in some financial literacy and economic topics. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them now. I know that I kind of went through all that very quickly. As you can see right here, sorry, I did just get off of that. Hang on. I'll put that back up. So if you want to scan this or the QR code, or I will put this link in the chat, if you would quickly just fill out this link that I just, hang on here. Okay. I'll put this link in the chat. If you would fill out this quick form, this is how I will know that you guys can get your CEUs for attending. So it's essentially just going to be your name, your school, and all that jazz. So I just put it in the chat box, or you can scan this little QR code with your phone and get it that way as well. So are there any questions that you have about any of the books or anything? I think we've just got a few, really, truly a few minutes, but 1 minute. If not, I really appreciate your time. I know that it is valuable. We appreciate you and all that you do for your students. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. My email is right here. What I'll be doing is emailing you guys this PowerPoint and the economics PDF worksheet, as well as your CEU certificate. So you should be looking for that from me in the next couple of days. And if you don't have any questions and you've filled out the survey, you are good to go.
Emily, I just wanted to thank you for all the resources and for providing this session for us. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for coming. We really appreciate it.
All right.
Appreciate your time. I know there's a lot going on for all you teachers right now. So
yeah. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Just make sure you fill out the survey and I'll be in touch soon. So have a great evening.